There is a world out there that sounds completely fake. Not because it is the biggest planet ever found, not because it is the hottest, not because it is covered in lava or storms, but because astronomers think a huge part of it may be made of crystallized carbon. In other words, something a lot like diamond. That sounds like clickbait. A diamond planet? A world made of gemstone? That sounds more like science fiction than astronomy. But this object is real. It is called PSR J1719-1438b, and it was discovered in 2011 orbiting a bizarre object called a millisecond pulsar. The system is about 4,000 light years away in our galaxy, and the story gets weird immediately. A pulsar is not a normal star. It is the crushed remnant of a dead star, a neutron star, packed into something only about 20 kilometers across, but with roughly 1.4 times the mass of the Sun. This one spins more than 10,000 times per minute and sends out radio signals so regular that astronomers can use tiny changes in those signals to detect objects orbiting it. That is how they found the so-called diamond planet. They noticed that the pulsar's signals were arriving a little early, then a little late, in a repeating pattern. That wobble meant something was pulling on it, and whatever was doing that had a mass close to Jupiter's. So, at first, that sounds like a normal giant planet. But then the numbers stopped making sense. This object is not a puffed-up gas giant like Jupiter. The observation showed it had to be incredibly compact, only about 60,000 kilometers across, roughly half Jupiter's size, while still having a mass near Jupiter's. That means its minimum density is about 23 grams per cubic centimeter, which is insanely high for a planet. For comparison, that is denser than almost any normal planet material you would expect in a giant world. So, what could it be? The leading idea is that this is not really a normal planet at all. Astronomers think it may be the leftover core of a star that once orbited the pulsar. Over time, the pulsar stripped away almost all of that star's outer layers, leaving behind only an ultra-dense remnant. The data suggests that remnant is made mostly of carbon and oxygen, not light gases like hydrogen and helium. And under that kind of pressure, carbon does not stay soft. It crystallizes. That is why this object got famous as the diamond planet. Not because scientists literally drilled into it and found a perfect jewelry-store gemstone, but because a large part of it may have a diamond-like crystalline structure. The Max Planck press release says a large part of the object could have that kind of structure, and the original paper says the density is consistent with an ultra-low-mass carbon white dwarf. And somehow the orbit is even crazier than the composition. This object circles its pulsar in just 2 hours and 10 minutes at a distance of about 600,000 kilometers, so close that the entire orbit would fit inside the Sun. It is unbelievably tight. In fact, the object is so close to the pulsar that, under normal circumstances, you would expect gravity to tear it apart. The fact that it survives is another clue that it must be extraordinarily dense. So, think about what this thing actually is. Not a peaceful diamond world sparkling in sunlight. Not a giant gem floating beautifully through space. It is more like the exposed core of a dead star. A world with the mass of Jupiter squeezed down to a much smaller size, orbiting a stellar corpse, built from materials so dense and carbon-rich that much of it may be in a diamond-like crystalline state. That is what makes this discovery so good. Because the hook sounds impossible, But the real story is even stranger than the headline. We did not just find a weird planet. We may have found the remnant of a star that got stripped down so violently that all that survived was a planet-sized core of ultra-dense carbon and oxygen, hardened into something like cosmic diamond. And that is why PSR J1719-1438b is unforgettable. Not because it proves the universe is full of treasure, but because it shows how brutal space can be. A star dies. Its companion gets stripped apart. The leftover core survives. And what remains may be one of the strangest worlds ever found. A planet-sized object orbiting a pulsar with the density of something more like a jewel than a planet.